So the subject which we are going to study, the topic which we are going to start today is project management. So what is a project? A project is anything where you want to invest your money, right? So a project is something where you want to invest your money. Let's start with the term capital investment. So what is capital investment? A capital expenditure from the accounting point of view is an expenditure which is shown as an asset in the balance sheet, or this asset except in the case of a non-depreciable asset like land, which is depreciated over its life. So there are different types of capital investment. Like you put your money. When we talk about project management, project is not about putting your money in land or selling it over the period of time, but a project is something where you put your money, and put your money and you want to recreate something, do something out of it, so that you can get a yearly return out of it, right? So there are capital expenditures and revenue expenditures, where outlays on research and development, major advertising campaigns, and reconditioning of plant and machinery may be treated as revenue expenditure for accounting purposes, even though they are expected to generate a stream of benefits in the future and qualify for being capital expenditure. So here few of the examples are given to you about what is capital expenditure and revenue expenditure. Majorly there are two types of expenditure: capital and revenue. So here capital expenditure is expenditure on maybe land, but of course this is depreciable, but that land should be used for production, not for reselling. That is called capital expenditure. Okay. And maybe you can set up a machinery, or maybe you are buying raw material, but raw material is revenue expenditure. Okay. So capital expenditure is expenditure where we put our money for a longer duration of time, one thing. And second thing is when we put our money for for reproduction, where we want some return in the form of maybe we want to sell something and we want returns out of it. So that is capital expenditure. But when the second case is when there is no long term expenditure, but expenditures are done for a very short period of time, for example accounting purposes, and maybe you are buying raw material for the production of the goods. So these are called revenue expenditures. So revenue expenditure is for shorter duration of time, and there is a production cycle also in revenue expenditure. So the basic difference between capital expenditure and revenue expenditure is capital expenditures are for longer duration of time, and revenue expenditures are for shorter durations of time. And I have also given you examples of capital and revenue expenditures. Capital expenditure is investing in land, machinery, and starting a new project, starting a new venture. And on the other hand, revenue expenditures are like for advertising campaigns and buying raw material. These are revenue expenditures and whose durations are very very small, or not very small but less than 1 year or something, you can say that. Okay. So these are capital investments. Moving forward, now what is the importance of capital investments? Now we are not talking about this revenue expenditure. In this subject we will be covering, obviously we will be covering short term investments also, but majorly we are talking about longer duration investments, where your money is blocked for a longer duration of time. And obviously if your money is blocked for a longer duration of time, you would also want a good return out of it. For example, you have certain amount with you. For example, you have 1 lakh rupees, and I would say that invest your 1 lakh rupee in this project, in this ABC project, and I would say I will give you return within 1 year. So obviously you will say that okay, a reasonable amount would be fine enough with you. And in the similar case, if I say your 1 lakh rupees I will give you after 5 years, so you will demand more interest. If I keep your money with me for 5 years, you would expect better returns, but in 1 year you will be okay if a little less return would be given to you, right? So the major difference is when you put your money for a very long duration of time, that is called capital investment. So moving forward, yes class. So now we will be studying the importance of such projects. So why this capital investment is so important, why we are pressurizing this term again and again, that why capital investments are so important. So the first point here we have is long term effects. So obviously if your money is invested for a longer duration of time, you cannot use your money for any other purpose. There is a term we use is you know the term is basically opportunity cost, right? So your opportunity, you are sacrificing your opportunity cost is cost of second best alternative. For example, you have two projects in hand with you. First is project A and second is project B. So instead of putting your project in B, you are putting in project A. So obviously you are sacrificing your investment, you are sacrificing your income for such a longer duration of time. So obviously you would expect something out of it. So the very first thing because of which these kind of projects are so important for us is because it's long term effects. So the consequences of capital expenditure decisions extend far into the future. The scope of current manufacturing activities of a firm is governed largely by capital expenditure made in the past. So, whatever we are earning today, for example, you are getting a good income from somewhere because you have invested that money in the past, right? This is the reason you are earning today. So, because you have invested your money for such a longer duration of time, you are earning such a good return, right? So, in long term effects, we can say that because our money is invested, so we want good returns. That's why capital investment decisions are very very important, because you are sacrificing your present consumption. Then second important thing is irreversibility. Now obviously if you have invested in a long term project, for example you have invested in a FD, say for example, I'm not giving you an example of a project, but I'm just giving you a very layman example. So here for example you have invested your money in a FD, right? The duration of the FD is 5 years, right? Now this FD you cannot break in between, for example, right? So this is irreversible. Once you have taken a decision, you cannot reverse it because you have put in money into it. Or maybe you have started a business, for example, right? You have started a business, and you have bought all the raw material, you have occupied the land, you have appointed people to conduct the project. Now after 1 year you cannot say no, I'm not finding this project good enough, now I don't want to invest further. So you have to be very very sure at the start of the project that yes, this is the thing where I want to invest my money into, right? So these decisions are very much, these decisions are very much irreversible. You cannot reverse these decisions, right? So the third point is substantial outlays. Now substantial outlays is because these decisions are for very very long duration of time, so they also involve a lot of money, right? When I'm asking your money for a longer duration, obviously the amount would also be very very huge. So because a very huge amount is involved in the process, that's why these decisions are very very important. Be very very careful when you put your money in such projects which are long term in nature. Your money is going to be locked for a longer duration of time. You cannot take back your decisions, and the money investor is also very very huge. So that's why one should be very very careful when they invest their money in such projects or capital investment, we can say, right? So next, we also face certain kind of difficulties when we start a project, or we can say a business, or we can say capital investment. So what are the major difficulties? We are just studying the overview of the project management today. So maybe there are so many things which we will study later on, but today we are just understanding the crux of the topic. So what are the difficulties? The first and the foremost difficulty we have here is the measurement problems. Now what kind of problems we face? Like identifying and measuring the cost and benefit of a capital expenditure proposal tend to be difficult. So for example, I have a project in my mind that okay, I want to do this, I want to start a business where of for example, I want to produce medicines, say for example, right? So I would say that nowadays people are so cautious about what new medicine should be used, and you know people are very much aware about immunities, and they take so many medicines today, so that at the time of pandemic people have become more health conscious, right? We can say that. So here question is that if people are so cautious, and I would say that I want to set up a business where I would be producing medicines, so I want funds from you, for example, and I would say please invest in my new business, and it will be, obviously I would say that it would be very prosperous, because people are very much aware about such things nowadays and very cautious. So I cannot go to somebody, or I cannot go to you people that invest in money in my project. I have to show you that this is going to be the intake, this much money we all of us have to invest, and after maybe 3 4 5 years this project is going to give back the returns. So I have to actually measure that how much money should be invested today, and how much return would be there maybe after 3 years, maybe 4 years, maybe 5 years, because there has to be a break even point, right? So from which year there would be payback of your investments, so that I have to measure. So this point is very very important and crucial. This point is very very important and crucial, that what is the investment required, what is the return, and what is the rate of investment, ROI, and what would be the payback period, and break even point. So many financial terms we use here. So how to measure it correctly? When I go and ask for from ask for funds from anybody, I have to be very very clear. I have to make a a proper a proper agenda, like a proper plan, I can say, a proper plan where how much money is required, what would be the return, and how I'm going to pay back my investors, how my stakeholders will be happy. So I have to make all the measurements, and these measurements may or may not be accurate, because obviously future. So from this point we can go to second points which we have here, is that is uncertainty. So uncertainty, obviously things are uncertain. Maybe today I'm telling you that investing in medicine business is very very good, people are more cautious about this or that, so many things are there, but we don't know about future. Maybe tomorrow things are completely different, maybe a year after today things are completely different, or some new revolution has been happened in the market, and I'm not able to cope up with the competition. So market is obviously very very uncertain, and there may be a number of problems which may occur in the market. So things are obviously uncertain, so these measurement problems arise because of uncertainty in the market, because things are always very very uncertain. Now from here the third point comes, that is temporal spread. Because when we invest in business, there is an accounting principle which we have studied, it going on concern, going concern concept, where we say that when we start a business, we do not think that the business will end after 5 years. We say that okay, if I have started a business, it will keep on going, like my I will create a legacy where my 7 generations will run this business. So when we start a business, there is always a thought process that this business will go for years and years. And if I'm starting a business for an business, and maybe after 10 years, maybe 20 years, maybe 30 years, that business which I have started today is not going very good, so obviously the returns are not good. So these are the problems, because first is we cannot measure anything properly because of uncertainty. And why uncertainty arise? Because of very very long duration of time. So these are the major three difficulties which we face when we start a new project. Okay, so moving forward, next we have what is project management. Till now we have understood what is the meaning of capital investment, what are the difficulties, what is importance. Now let's move forward. Then now let's just change this term capital investment to a project. because project or capital investment is basically investing in a business. So now, how to manage a business? Important thing is how to manage a business. Now, project management objectives are the successful development of a project's procedures of. Now, project management has different phases. Now, what are those phases? First is initiation. Second is planning, as you can see here, initiation. Second is planning. Third is execution. Fourth is regulation, and fifth is closure. So, these 5 steps, managing these 5 steps is called project management, right? So initiation is starting, thinking about an idea. So business starts with idea. How to generate an idea? What now? How to generate an idea? Basically, generating an idea is not a rocket science. Basically, you can say that an idea is generated when you see a loophole in the market. See, for example, in current situation, if we talk about pandemic, what is the idea? you know Creating, producing more immunity booster medicines, and creating mask. This was such a huge business during corona time, that there was a shortage of mask, right? So an idea is initiated when you see a loophole in the market. So as I said, creating an idea, generating is an idea is not a rocket science. You don't have to do much about it. You just have to identify where is the loophole in the market, and when you find that loophole, that weakness in the market is basically your opportunity. So the first thing is initiating. Second thing is planning. So for example, people who saw that now because of corona there are so many people who need masks, different types of masks. Now this mask business has also so modernized that people don't want just those surgical masks. They want very beautiful colorful masks, party wear masks, simple masks, dress, mask which are very matching to their dresses and all. So how they're upgrading this business. This is also kind of business, right? So first is initiation, generating an idea. Second is planning, how to modernize it, how to capture the market. You have to plan it in a very very systematic manner. Third is execution. When you generate an idea, when you plan it, like those who planned about it, they just didn't produce very very simple mask, they produce such beautiful mask, and people are so attracted to those things, right? And even we have seen bridal mask, that is also a concept. So how things are changing, earlier it was just a basic necessity, now it has become a fashion statement. So this is how the market has shifted into a completely new thing, right? Then is execution, production. We have to do production, set up market for it, regulation, timely supply, and closure. Maybe after some time, when all these things will be over, these masks will be of no use, nobody would like to use it. So these are 4 5 steps which we have to manage while we you know while we successfully try to manage a project, and as well as the guidance of project teams, operations towards achieving all the agreed upon goals. Now it is very very, this term goals is very very important. Like what were your goals? Never ever think to start a business before identifying your goals. It is very important that once you have to, that like this much I am investing and this much return I want. Your goals should be absolutely clear in your head. You should write it down, like what do you want from your business, where do you want to see your business after 5 years or maybe 10 years. So this goal setting is very very important. And what is the scope is, like I have given you the example of mask only. Earlier it was just a mask which was used for the protection, but now they are used as a fashion statement. So this is the scope of the business. Time, for how long these masks would be required. We would not require these masks for like next 10 years. Maybe in another 5 6 months, when everybody would be vaccinated, these masks would not be required, right? So what is the time duration of your business project? Quality, of course, because to what audience you are selling your product. So So accordingly you have to maintain the quality and budget standards, because earlier these masks were so costly, but now because everybody has started producing these masks, so what is happening, people don't need people will not spend too much on masks because it is very easily and cheaply available. So you have to set your budget standards also. So everything, these are just crux of project management, like what all things you would need to start a project, what all things you have to take care. Next is, projects are temporary and in a sense unique endeavors. Maybe your projects are not very long term projects, it may be a short term project. For example, building a flyover, that is not a lifelong project, it is maybe for next 5 years only. So it can be a temporary project also, but it is unique endeavor. Temporary because they only happen once and have a specific duration, and unique in that they are not routine enterprises but a set of procedures intended to produce a singular product, outcome, service, or result. So as I said, that they may be a very very unique project, like making construction of a flyover, metro stations, building of metro stations. They are unique projects, they are not going to last forever, they are going to last for a shorter duration of time. Once the project is complete, there is no need further to continue it. So at the core of all projects lies the element of collaboration and communication. So whenever we start a project, there are a lot of collaborations to be done. Like for example, building a flyover, we would need a lot of collaborations with whom? With the suppliers who will provide cement and bricks. Labors would be required, and there are so many things to build a to construct a flyover. So many collaborations will be there, and communications. For example, when government is going to start a project, a flyover construction project, they will not just give this contract to anybody randomly. They are going to announce bids. They will ask bids from people, and they will select the best and cheap option. So communications are very very important here. So in any project, proper communication system is very important. So when proper communication is there, collaborations would be done, right, with all the stakeholders. Now who are the stakeholders? Stakeholders are the people who are involved in business, right? Like for example, even if a flyover is constructed, I am also the stakeholder of that flyover, because I am going to use it, I'm going to run my vehicle on that flyover. So I'm also a stakeholder of that particular thing, right? So whosoever is involved, like society, NGOs, government, and anybody is the stakeholder of the project. Because how government is the stakeholder of a project? Because they are going to get taxes out of it, right? How NGOs are the stakeholder of a project? Because as per government rules, 2% of the income has to be spent as CSR activities. So NGOs are also stakeholders of the project. So there are n number of stakeholders. Then there are obviously clients, the project team who is working on the project, the organization, or even the wider community. Everybody involved. For example, even if the people who are living around the factory area, they are also the stakeholders, because whatever pollutants are created by the factory are going to affect the neighborhood. So to this end, project management is where all processes meet. The central focal point from which all procedures derive are specifically defined, scheduled, and organized, following which they are communicated and assigned, and subsequently followed up on and evaluated. So whatever procedures are identified, blueprints are created, goals are identified, everything has to be very much lined up. And everybody, a project cannot be managed by a single person. There is a whole team who is going to manage this project, right? So this is called project management, and it is such a huge deal, where so many things are involved, which we will be studying later on in project management. Okay, so today we are starting with the objectives of project management. Okay, so
Yesterday we have discussed what is project management, and now why project management is so important. Why do we have to, you know, go with such a tedious procedure to, you know, of project management, so that we need to complete a project in a systematic way. So what are the different objectives we need to keep in mind while we are managing a project? So the very first objective of project management is the successful development and implementation of all the phases of project. So yesterday only we have discussed about the 5 phases of project management. So those 5 phases are initiation, planning, execution, regulation, and closure, right? So these are the 5 phases of project management. So here also, when we talk about the successful development and implementation of all the phases of a project, so we are talking about initiation is developing an idea, like how to develop an idea. Developing an idea is again not a rocket science. We have to just see the weakness in the current situation, what is the problem people are facing in the current scenario, and on the basis of that we can just bring out the solution, right? So that is called initiation of idea. So any loophole in the market is nothing but an opportunity for everybody, to start a new project. So as we discussed also, like in present situation, for example, maybe people are facing health issues, so launching new immunity boosters, and launching new type of mask or any other thing, all these things are nothing but an opportunity for the person, so that you can develop your business. So initiation is nothing but development of an weakness. You can just develop the weakness into an opportunity. So initiation, then planning and design. In planning and design, we have to cover all the planning, what we have to do. So all these things are part of project management. Here you have to develop an idea, then you have to plan how to go about with the idea. Is the idea feasible or not? At times we think that okay, this is such a good plan, we can launch this thing, but maybe later on it is not as such a good idea to bring that idea into action. So it is not always the case where you have an idea and you can just launch it, because when you do the feasibility study, it is not as such a good plan. Okay, so this is the case. Yes, then there is planning and design, then there is construction and execution. For construction and execution, obviously we need a lot of collaborations, communications, dealing with different type of people, for example suppliers, traders, vendors, and government officials, and many NGOs, and many other authorities who are the stakeholders of the project. Then there is monitoring and control, that once you start a project, it is not like that you have started the project, you have planned it, and you are just executing is not sufficient, because at times the major problem comes when you go to grounds, right? On real grounds there may be different problems. Like there are for example, you have set certain standard, like for till within 1 month this much production should be done, right? But maybe you are not able to achieve it. When you have to set certain standards, and you have to check that whether you are able to meet those standards or not, right? This is very very important. So monitoring is important to see whether you have reached the standards or not. That is important, right? So these are the 5 areas where we have to work. That is, as I'll just repeat it: initiation, then planning and design, construction, execution, and monitoring and control. Control is important. If you see any deviation from your target, you have to take corrective actions, right? And the final stage is completion. So completion is also not the final stage. You have to take feedbacks from all the areas wherever you have worked, that whether you were able to reach whether you were able to reach the desired goal or not, or maybe you could have done a little better also. So that is also a concern, right? So completion is not about just completing a project, but you also have to take feedback whether you have done a good job or not. So the smooth and uninterrupted development and execution of all the above phases ensures the success of a project. So when you are done with all the phases, for example, you have done initiation, planning, and planning and everything you have done, but you haven't taken the feedback, you haven't learned from your mistake, then also the project is not completed, right? So this is also very, very important. Okay, here now we'll move to second point, second objective of the project management, that is productive guidance, efficient communication, and apt supervision of the project team. So this is very, very important to have good guidance and good communication between the project team. So always keep in mind that the success or failure of a project is highly dependent on teamwork. No project can be completed without a proper teamwork or proper communication between the members, among the members. And thus the key to success is always collaboration. If the team is not working in harmonious ways and they are not having good communication with each other, the project cannot be completed, because ultimately it is not the machines or other tools and techniques who are going to complete the project. It is all about the human efforts, right? So if the team members are not having good relationship with each other, not having harmonious working ways, not common goals, then the project will not be completed, or they will not be completed in an efficient way or better way. So to this end, the establishment of good communication is of major importance. So to have harmony among the members, it is very important to have good communication between among the members. On one hand, information needs to be articulated in clear and ambiguous and complete way. So it is very important that whatever the team is deciding, in whatever direction the project is going, they must have a good communication to each and every member. Each and every member must know that yes, this is happening in the project and this is how we are proceeding. Even if one member is not sure that why we are doing this, what is the purpose of doing this, then it would be very difficult to complete the project. Okay, so everything is comprehended fully by everyone, and on the other hand is the ability to be able to listen and receive constructive feedback. When you will be when the leader or the supervisor would be able to communicate the things properly, then only a good feedback will come. And supervisor should always be able to communicate in such a way that the subordinate should be able to give feedback, right? One should always be open to feedback. If the supervisor is not open to feedbacks, then obviously he is doing in his own way, then the project may not be up to the mark. So it is very important to have good communication first, so that each and every member should know why we are doing this and where our project is going. And second, to get good feedback, so that improvisations should be done overall, like monitoring and controlling. We discussed that how monitoring would be done, how control would be done if we have good communication. So good communication is the key for a successful business project. Okay, so moving forward, the third point is achievement of the project's main goals within the given constraint. So it is very important to achieve the project's main goal within the given constraints. The most important objective of the project is to complete the desired goal. So ultimately, why we are doing all this? To complete the project, right? To complete the goal. So it is very important that we complete the goal, plus we should also complete it on time. It is not only about as I discussed that when government want to complete a project, they ask for bids, and when they ask for bids, they are not only looking for cheapest bid, but they are also looking for quality, they are also looking for on time completion. So there are a number of factors which government will look after. So similarly, when you are completing the project, the goal accomplishment is obviously very, very important, but the constraints are also very important, that you cannot maybe we have completed the project, but it should have completed in 1 year, but the team has taken 2 years. Obviously, you are overspending on it, your time is money, right? So you are spending money. If you are spending overtime, you are spending money. So it is very important that we must be very clear that the project should be completed, and also in time, in budget. Every aspect of the project should be looked after. So project management and efficient project management will definitely help you to complete the project within all constraints like time, quality, n number of factors depending on the type of project. Then the next point is optimization of the allocated necessary inputs. So here all the inputs should be optimized, and the application to meeting the project's predefined objective is a matter where always space for improvement. All processes and procedures can be reinformed and upgraded to enhance the sustainability of a project and to lead the team through the strategic change process. So when we start a project, we have certain guidelines in our head. We know that we need to do this or we need to do that. But one thing also remember that we also keep on improving with the time. Maybe you have decided that this much production should be done, but when you were actually implementing the project, you thought that this target is quite unachievable or unrealistic. So you can upgrade, you can degrade also. Degrade is in the sense that maybe whatever target you have fixed, that target is quite a huge thing. Maybe you are not able to achieve it, but you can also reduce the target if you feel it is causing you too much time or maybe too much money. But also you can increase the target as well. So you should always be ready to upgrade it, right? Maybe change it. Upgrade, I would say change is a better word. You can change it as per the current scenario. Maybe when you started the project, things were slightly different, and now the things are quite different because of any unwanted situation in the market. So you should be ready to change whatever market is demanding, right? Then moving forward, last point where we have is production of a complete project which follows the client's exclusive needs and objectives. So whenever we start a project, obviously we want to sell it, whatever product you have produced or maybe whatever assignment you have taken, it is for your client, right? So it is very important that your client should be satisfied, for whom you are making this product or you are completing this project for somebody, for some company or something. So it is very important that your client should be very, very happy. So this might mean that you need to shape and reinform the client's vision or to negotiate with them as regards the project's objectives to modify them into feasible goals. So there are certain techniques, project management techniques also, which we will discuss in later on. So it is very important that always look what customer wants. Maybe you have started a project, but that time you felt that okay, customer needs this or that, and only on the basis of your perception, if you will decide that customer would need this or that, then you may not be in a very good situation later on. So it is very important to align with the customer's need, right? You should always align with customer's needs, what he wants. Maybe his needs has changed. It is one of the most difficult tasks to identify customer requirement, customer behavior, because this is human nature, and human nature will change like drastically at any point of time. All the customer needs and everything will change. So it is very, very important to be updated with what customer wants. So when you are in alignment with customers requirement, your project would definitely be the successful one, right? So these are the major objectives of the project management. So now we are moving forward with the importance of project management. Why project management is very important for us. So the first is strategic alignment. So what is strategic alignment? Let's discuss this point first. So project management is important because it ensures what is being delivered is right. So as we have just discussed in the objectives of project management, that whatever you are producing should be in alignment with what customer wants. So it is very, very important that whatever we are producing should be as per the need or demand of the customer or your client, and will be delivered real value against the business opportunity. I mean, whatever you are producing, it should be delivered on time, plus it should be as per the need of the customer or your client. So every client has strategic goals, and the projects that we do for them advance those goals. Basically, in nutshell, if we, the bottom line is that whatever you are producing, whatever you are creating is for the customer, not for anybody else. And if with your product the customer is not happy, then there is no point of doing anything, right? So every customer has certain goals in his head, so it is very important that you are aligned with the goals of the customer. So your goal and customer's goal, your client's goal, should be in alignment. So this is what we call strategic alignment. So basically, I'll just repeat it again. Strategic alignment is that your goals and your customer's goals should match. Both the parties should not go in different directions. Both should have similar goals. Project management is important because it ensures there is rigor in architecting projects properly so that they fit well within the broader context of a client strategic framework. So your goal should be in alignment with the customer's goal. That is very, very important. So good project management ensures that the goals of projects closely align with the strategic goals of the business. In identifying a solid business case and being methodical about calculating ROI, project management is important because it can help to ensure the right thing is delivered that's going to deliver real value. So basically, for example, I'll just try to give you an example for this. Let's say that a mobile manufacturing company has given you the order to produce mobile phones, right? And their need is to focus on innovation, right? And instead of focusing on innovation, maybe you are focusing on other parts of the phone, for example, the quality, the battery, or maybe other parts, right? But you are not focusing on innovation. What is new in this phone? What is the new feature in the phone? You are not focusing on that. So basically your goal and your client's goal are in different direction. Their strategic planning is to bring innovation in the market, but your strategy says to provide the best quality. So there is a difference, right? So whenever you are producing something, your strategy and your client strategy should be at same page, right? So this is what we call strategic alignment. Okay, so next important point of project management is leadership. Leadership plays a very, very crucial role in any project. The energy of the leader, the thought of the leader, or the goal of the leader is what is circulated within the members, right? So what leader thinks, how leader is progressing is very, very important. Many a times we have studied the concept of leader and a boss. A boss is somebody who will just give you orders, and leader is somebody who will take everybody along with him, right? He will take feedback from his team, and when everybody is happy, he makes sure that everybody is happy. He's not a boss who is just giving orders and everybody is following him. But a leader will take everybody with him, and he will make sure that everybody's personal goals should also be accomplished. So why everyone's personal goal should also be accomplished? Because if I am a team member, if my personal growth is not there in the project, I will never be happy and I will not give my 100%. So leadership plays a very, very important role in project management. Without project management, a team can be like a ship without a rudder, moving but without direction. They all are moving but they don't know what to do, right? And could control or purpose. Leadership allows and enables a team to do their best work. So why leadership is so important? Because they allow everybody to give their best, not only for the organizational purpose, but for their own personal goals and organizational goals should be aligned. So project management provides leadership and vision, motivation, removing roadblocks, coaching and inspiring the team to do their best work, right? So a leader will inspire everybody to give their best, so that everybody should be happy. For example, if I am a team member, my organizational goal is to deliver. For example, as a teacher, what is the organizational goal? Organizational goal is to deliver best lectures to the student, right? And as a personal, this should be my goal also, because organizational goal should be my goal also. But there are certain personal goals associated with this organization goal. For example, what do I personally need from my job? I need that everybody should should be able to understand what I am saying, or maybe able to communicate with me. This is my personal goal. I should be able to make a personal touch with the students. So this is my personal goal. So organizational goal and personal goal should be aligned. So this is how leadership works. So if organization environment is not as such, which is helping my personal goals to grow, then it would be a problem, right? So this is why leadership is very, very important. So another thing is project managers serve the team, but also ensures clear lines of accountability. Of course, project manager would give rights to members also, but with rights there is accountability also. We cannot say that give me right to do this or do that, but with every right there is accountability also. So a leader would inspire the team member to take accountability of their actions. So that is why leadership is very, very important. Then next is clear focus and objective. Third point is clear focus and objective. Project management is important because it ensures there is a proper plan for executing on strategic goals. So where project management is left to the team to work out by themselves, you will find teamwork without proper briefs, project lack focus, can have vague objectives, and leave the team not quite sure what they are supposed to be doing or why. So it is very important that you clear out all the picture, like this is what I have to accomplish. For example, for this for this quarter, the goal of the company is to increase the sales by 10%. If I'll not tell that this is my goal for this quarter, like increase the sales for 10%, my team would never understand that what I am expecting out of them. So your goal should be very, very clear. Your objective should be very, very clear. So without me, you don't know where to reach, then how will you reach? So this is very important that you know where I am going and what I am supposed to do. If I have given you a clear picture that the sales should increase by 10% this time, like whatever sales was there in previous quarter, it should increase by 10%, then how will you put in efforts? If I'll just say, okay, the sales should increase this time, then you will say, okay, 2% increase in sale is also worthy, because again I didn't tell you that how much sales should increase. I just told you that sales should increase. So there is a difference. If I say sales should increase, this is a vague objective, this is a vague thing. But if I'll say the sales should increase by 10%, it means I'm clearly telling you that this is what you are supposed to do, this is how you should move, right? Then next is quality control. So project management is important because it ensures the quality of whatever is being delivered consistently hits the mark. So it is very important, as I told you, in the process of project management also, that a project is not successful only because it has been completed on time, or maybe it is cheap. But there is another very, very important part, that is quality control. That the project or the product which you have manufactured should be up to the mark, should match the standards, right? So this is also another very important thing, that the quality measures should be there. And always in project management, a project manager should always focus that while maintaining the budget, they should not compromise quality. This is very, very important. So a good project management demands gated phases where terms can assess the output of quality, there are different quality measures like ISI marks, or there are different quality measures which has to be checked, that your product should cross this quality measure, quality assurance should be there. So then only your project would be a good project. Okay, so here we have next point, that is risk management. So risk management is again very important point. So why we are doing project management? So that project management is nothing but planning in advance, right? So why we are planning in advance? So that we should consider all ifs and buts, that this may happen or that may happen. We are considering the worst case scenario also, that if this situation may arise, maybe a labor lockout may happen, or maybe government policy will change, or anything, maybe suppliers rate would have increased, or we consider all the aspects. So why we are considering all the aspects? So that we can minimize our risk, right? We can plan in advance that if this would happen, what would be my plan of action? If labor is not cooperating with me, what will I do? If the price of the raw material would increase, what will I do? If the government policy will change, what will I do? For example, customer taste would change in future, what will I do? So project management is basically an activity where we try to foresee future, that this may also happen or that may also happen. So if in any worst situation, what would be my plan of action? So in nutshell, we can say that project management helps you to minimize the risk, or we can say manage the risk, that if there is something odd happening in the future, what would be my plan of action? This is called risk management, right? Then orderly process. Then project management is important because it ensures the right people do the right things. First is right people do the right things at the right time also. It ensures proper project is followed throughout the project life cycle. That project life cycle, that first they started the project, then they plan, then they execute, then they monitor and control, then they conclude. There are so many things. So a proper project management will ensure that whatever you are doing, it is going in the right manner, in the right direction. Okay, so
Excuse me, ma'am.
So yes, so here many large and well-known companies have reactive planning process. So what is reactive? But reactivity as opposed to proactivity can often cause projects to go into survival mode. This is when teams fracture, tasks duplicate, and planning becomes reactive, creating inefficiency and frustration in the team. So there are two approaches, proactive and reactive. Proactive is when you have already decided that this is what I want to do, and reactive is when the situation will come, then only I will think what is supposed to be done. So a team should be proactive, that before the occurrence of the problem, they should know that if this will happen, I will do this. This is proactive approach. And reactive is that once we'll see what will happen and this will happen, then we'll see what to be done, right? So in orderly process, one should always remember that the team should be proactive rather than reactive, right? But when you have done proper planning, then only you will be able to really understand that how to overcome certain problems. Okay.
Okay, so class, next point we are going to discuss is realistic project planning. Okay, so whenever we do project planning, it has to be very, very realistic. So project management is important because it ensures proper expectation which are set around, and what can be delivered by when and for how much. So project planning includes everything, that what should be delivered, by what time it should be delivered, and how much will be delivered. Without proper project management, budget estimates and project delivery timelines can be set that are over ambitious or lacking in analogous estimating insight from similar projects. So majorly what problem is there in project management is that when somebody make a proper plan about the project, at times they overestimate things, because obviously when I want to launch a new project, I have to show that project to somebody, right, for to get funds. But what happens is, in order to get good funds from this external parties, from banks or anybody else, it is very important, to show a good plan, that good returns should be there, that this much we will achieve. But at times, just to showcase, what a project manager does is that he overestimate everything. He shows such a goody goody image of everything that it is actually very very unrealistic, which is not possible. So it is very important that when you make a project plan, when you prepare, do paperwork about a project, you do budgeting, everything should be very very realistic. You should not overestimate everything. So effective project managers should be able to negotiate reasonable and achievable deadlines. So the deadline should be both reasonable and achievable, right? And milestone across stakeholders, teams, management. So everybody is going to look to your plan, your stakeholders, your teams, management. So at times, project managers show things which are not very very realistic, and just to showcase something very very good, they does this. So too often the urgency placed on delivery compromises the necessary steps and ultimately the quality of the project's outcome. So when at times it also happens that to complete the project well on time and to do everything on time, we project manager may compromise with the quality of the product. So it is very important that your project should be realistic, that the quality should not be sacrificed, and it should not be something very 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 goody goody thing that is not actually real on real grounds. So we all know that most tasks will take longer than initial anticipated. A good project manager is able to analyze and balance the available resources with the required timeline and develop a realistic schedule. So it is very important that the manager should make a realistic schedule where everything should be pre-planned in such a way that it should at least be realistic. There are different time zones which are selected. For example, worst case scenario, best case scenario. So all these scenarios have to be prepared. You should not show anything like in the best case scenario, but worst case scenario, most likely scenario, worst case scenario. So this thing also has to be considered. So good project manager create a clear process with achievable deadlines. So whatever deadlines the project manager is creating, it should be achievable. It should not be something which is very very on cloud 9 or something. It should not be like that. So so unreasonable expectations are going to lead you to nowhere, right? So it is very important that one must create realistic plans, not something which is very superficial. So moving forward, there is continuous oversight also. Now what is continuous oversight? Project management is important because it ensures a project's progress is tracked and reported properly. So say for example, I have decided that I'm going to complete this project after 1 year, right? So it should not be the case that I'm going to check the performance of my project after 1 year only. It is very important that I must recheck that am I on the right track or not. So if the project is supposed to be completed after 1 year, it doesn't mean I'm going to check it only after a year. I'm going to have continuous checking. For example, after at the end of every 15 days, I'm going to check whether I'm matching the standards or not. So it is very important to continuously check. If I'll not check my smaller steps, then I would not be able to complete my goal, right? So it is very important to have a timely check, maybe 15 days, maybe weekly. At times, when projects are so crucial, they can check even on daily basis also, that what is the process, what is the progress in the project. So it is another very very important thing, right? When proper oversight and project reporting is in place, it makes it easy to see when a project is beginning to deviate from its intended course. So if you are continuously checking, so it would become very easy for you to know where is the deviation. So you will not wait to things get out of your hand, things become worst. You are going to check it on very very regular basis, and when then and there you can overcome the mistake, overcome the problem, right? So the earlier good project managers will regularly generate easily digestible progress or status report that enable stakeholders to track the project. Typically these status reports will provide insight into a work that was completed and planned, the hours utilized, and how they track among those plans. So proper tracking is very very important, that you check whether whatever you are doing should be up to the mark, right? So this is continuous oversight. Next is subject matter expertise. So this is another very important thing of project manager. See, one person, maybe that person is the project manager, but he cannot be, you know, the all rounder. He also need assistance from different people. A person who belongs to finance may not be able to understand IT stuff of the project, and somebody who is from, finance may not understand what is to be done to market the project. So it is very important to have subject matter expertise. A project manager should take the advantage of the team. So here again, the teamwork again plays a very very important role here. So project management is important because someone needs to be able to understand if everyone is doing what they should. So this is very important, that everyone should be doing what they are supposed to do. It is not like that the project manager should give the work to randomly anybody. The manager has to see that he is appointing the right duty to right person, he is giving the right job to right person. For example, if somebody belongs to operations, and if you give him something to manage, like finance or something, he will not be able to give his best. So similarly, a project manager has to be very very wise when he is appointing and allocating duties. He must know that this is the specialization of this person, I should give him this, or maybe other person also who is growing in that area. So according to their expertise, he should allot duty, right? Having the kind of subject matter expertise means they can have intelligent and informed conversations with client. For example, if somebody is from marketing, he knows how to talk to client. He must need that kind of communication skills, on the basis of which he can really pitch the client. But obviously, to pitch the client, the marketing person should know that what is going on at the back end, and that all information would be provided to him by the other departments. So subject matter expertise is important, but obviously good communication and collaboration among the team members is very very important. If I am if I am handling budget part, but I should know that how much budget is required for marketing, how much budget is required for operations, for production. So again, the key to every problem is having proper communication within the organization. So this is very very important. So subject matter expertise can be used very nicely if the communication within the organization is going fine, right? So next point is managing and learning from success and failure. So it is very very important, as I told you in previous class also, that once you make a project and once you complete it, you are done with the production, then also it is not complete, because you have to take feedback. Whatever you have done, have you done everything rightly? What were the problems you have faced, and are you learning from your problems or not? That is again very very important thing, right? So that's why learning from your own mistakes is very very important. So do's and don'ts, this is how you know what are the do's and don'ts of the project. So why it is important to report everything, so that when in future another project would be there, this should be done in this way, so that last time we have suffered, maybe we have spend a lot because of this problem, or we took a lot of time because of this problem. But this time, when second time I'm doing this project, I will definitely know that these are the areas I need to be more cautious about, right? So this is how we can say that project management is important. When there is a proper project management, all these problems will not be there. So this is all about project management.